Hello, Arizona, and welcome to this episode of Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to what we have to say, and we have a lot to say today. No question about that. Today, I'm joined once again with Kalencia Sanders.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
Thank you for being part of this show. And we've got a lot to talk about, so I want to get kind of our plugs out of the way here. Certainly, if you want to reach out to the show, please email the show at valleyofthesunrealestateshow@gmail.com, or you can call me directly, 602-573-3101. How can we get in touch with you, Kalencia?
I can be reached at area code 480-233-3102, and again, that's Kalencia Sanders at orangeskyrealty.com, and my email is kalencia@orangeskyrealty.com, and the phone number, one more time, 480-233-3102.
Awesome. Well, we got a lot to cover here, so let's jump right into this. This show is all about condos. Condos right now are a hot topic. They really seem to be just flying off the shelves, right? So we thought it to be appropriate to talk about condos in Phoenix. Now, traditionally, from my experience, Phoenix has not really been too condo friendly, but that may be changing, and so we want to kind of go through that. And we have some excerpts, if you will, or some audio here from Michael Orr. He just recently spoke about condos and the change of the attitude toward condos here in Phoenix. And so we're going to be playing some of those excerpts, or those video, or not video clips, but audio clips, and then comment on those. So what do you say we kind of jump right into this?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, cool. So the first audio clip that I have here from Michael Orr, and by the way, Michael Orr is pretty much the Valley expert when it comes to housing. He's really, a lot of realtors refer to him. He's the guy who crunches the numbers. I've done a podcast on him before, but he really crunches the numbers to really dive into where the business is coming from, where it may potentially be going, and how it's kind of performing in the Valley. So he looks at foreclosures, short sales, listings, how long they've been on the market, all sorts of data. He's our data collector, if you will. And he's one of the professors at ASU W.P. Carey School of Business. So let's jump right into this first one. Now, this first clip here, this first audio clip here, Mike talks about where he thinks this interest, where this buzz is coming from for these condos here in the Valley. So let's go ahead and play that, and then we'll make some comments after that.
First of all, you've got a lot of baby boomers. They've always been active in the market. They didn't get put off by the recession because they're strong believers in the benefits of owning real estate. We're seeing a few of them move into apartments that they rent because we've seen a lot of people put up apartments that are in luxury condition in prestigious areas. We haven't had much for them to buy, and the few that have come on the market for them to buy have sold very quickly. Probably the most recent example of that is Envy in Old Town Scottsdale, which opened for sale only a short while ago, and the first phase sold out really quickly.
Yeah, see, I mean, he's spot on with that. I mean, we haven't had, what stuck out to me in that comment, Kalencia, is that we haven't had much as far as inventory. I mean, this is the first time in a few years, really, that we've had somewhat of good inventory.
Yes, inside the city, not far out on the outskirts, right where everyone wants to be, where there's great shopping, your work is nearby, where you want to be, in Scottsdale, downtown.
Yeah, location, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
It's exciting. As I was sharing earlier, I've out there in the trenches, and there, I won't say any particular names, but there are some particular developers, again, condos and townhouses in these hot areas that, like Michael Orr says, the minute that they become available, they're creating an interest list, and they're full within weeks, months, sold out, so to speak, completely reserved. And people are just so excited, really sleek architecture, high-end product. It's beautiful, and it gives you the convenience of, again, a great location, and all the beautiful elements of architecture and amenities inside the house and in the community.
Yeah, and I think that's a big selling point. I mean, we've talked about inventory in the past, and inventory, although it's been there, it's not been attractive inventory. It's been outdated. Maybe it needs some rehab work. It's not turnkey, what we refer to as turnkey. So to have something turnkey in a great location at an affordable price, it's really a hot seller. And I think that's really the meat and potatoes behind what's driving these sales for some of these condos.
Yes, modern, new, high-end, top quality. They're excited for a great price. Great price.
Right, absolutely. So now in this next audio clip, Mike talks about our change in attitude here in Phoenix. I mean, we're not in Miami, we're not in Los Angeles, we're not, New York or San Francisco where there's heavy condominium living. Here in Phoenix, it's always been traditionally, I think land has always kind of been the big thing here. People want land. They like having their acre and a quarter lots, 2 acre lots, 5 acre lots. It's really kind of a cowboy town, if you will, how it started. It started, right?
Yeah.
No offense to all the cowboys out there. No offense at all. It just has started to change. I mean, as the commutes get more and more difficult here, I mean, we're turning into a mini LA when it comes to the commutes. So locations becoming more and more of a premium to get to and from work and just your overall lifestyle. So let's take a listen here to Mike Orr's comments on these changes here.
But it's an interesting development, only just emerged really in the last couple of months, and if it continues, then it could change the character of Phoenix real estate going forward. You might see us get a little bit more urbanized and more dense.
So there you have it. I mean, traditionally we're not urbanized. We're not an urbanized city. I mean, we've got a lot of density, right? So we're starting to condense those things. Kalencia, I wanted to kind of get your take on this because I know there was a few years ago where Governor Brewer passed some laws, or she advocated. I don't know if they passed or not. I don't really follow that stuff, but she had mentioned that she wanted more inner city development. Not where the land is so cheap, but we have a lot of dirt lots and things like that within the city. She wanted those developed.
Yes, and that has taken off. The revitalization, again, of downtown Phoenix has just taken off. Phoenix seems to be a hush, but the Grand Avenue area and, again, along Roosevelt is up for an award in April for the revitalization of downtown Phoenix. I mean, it's just a win-win for everyone. You have businesses coming in. Apple actually is doing something here now. You got GoDaddy has come in. ASU has a big thing going on downtown. So it's a ripple effect, and it's just growing and flourishing, and everyone wants to be downtown in that area and taking up those vacant lots, filling it in with just greatness, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's fantastic. Uber just bought a building downtown Phoenix, spent $40 million or something like that on that building. So, there's a lot of tech companies coming here to the Valley. I heard Microsoft was even thinking of coming to the Valley, opening up some. I don't know if it's part of their software development or if it's a factory to print out the DVDs or whatever they do. But Microsoft is coming here. So we've got a lot of technology companies investing here in Phoenix, which is fantastic, and I think that's also contributing because a lot of those people in Silicon Valley and things like that, they live in San Francisco and they're used to condos and they're used to that kind of living, urban living, and so it's a great fit. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. So now the third audio clip that I have here from Mike Orr is on. He talked about the baby boomers, right? But he also mentions the millennials. And let's play it, and then I'll kind of put my comments into there. But let's take a listen to Mike Orr on the millennials and condo living.
Then, of course, at the other end of the scale, you've got the millennials, mostly renting, But when they do start to buy, I think the sort of thing they're looking for is something small, something more central, and the great locations for condos around the valley are really Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe.
There you have it. I mean, millennials. I think that my take on this, Kalencia, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's tough to save a penny right now.
Yeah.
And with the price of these condos, you get a lot of luxury, like you had mentioned before, with it. With at a decent price, you're not paying $400,000. I mean, some of these condos here in Phoenix are quite expensive, but you can get into a condo relatively cheap as opposed to a single family home.
Yes, I think condos and townhouses being more affordable, but giving you, again, a piece of the pie, the luxury, it's just definitely driving the market more towards that, because you have to have a down payment, and when you're looking at single-family home versus a townhouse or a condo, the numbers can sometimes make more sense, and you're maybe not needing or wanting the upkeep. Again, people are kind of looking at the lifestyle that townhouse and condominium communities are offering as well. Low maintenance, convenient. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think with millennials, the attitude toward real estate's a little bit different than the X generation or the baby boomers. So condos are a great stepping stone to get into the housing market without having the full responsibility of owning a home. Like you'd mentioned, the maintenance and whatnot. I mean, it's basically an apartment that you own with a lot of other amenities that go along with it. So,
and let's not forget the baby boomers downsizing. It's very attractive to them, as he said. He mentioned that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the fourth audio clip here that I have here is Michael Orr talking about the luxury apartments and what it means to maintenance. You just mentioned as far as baby boomers and the lack thereof the maintenance. So let's take a listen to what he has to say about that.
We're seeing a few of them move into apartments that they rent because we've seen a lot of people put up apartments that are in luxury condition in prestigious areas. We haven't had much for them to buy, and the few that have come on the market for them to buy have sold very quickly. Probably the most recent example of that is Envy in Old Town Scottsdale, which opened for sale only a short while ago, and the first phase sold out really quickly.
Yeah, so there you have it. That's a prime example of the home selling quickly in a prime location. So Envy of Scottsdale, I mean, it's right down in basically downtown Scottsdale there. That's a hot area, a lot of tourists down there, a lot of activity, a lot of shopping, all kinds of stuff within walking distance, which is another part of that urbanization. Nightlife, comedy clubs, I mean, you name it, it's down there. And so I think that's a big attraction to that place as well.
I agree.
All right, so now the other clip, we only got a couple more clips here. And by the way, after we're done playing these clips, I'm playing these clips because I want you to know from a Valley expert who studies real estate what's kind of happening. This is spring 2015. We've had a hot market since January. It really doesn't seem to have let up at all since the light switch kind of went on, and all of a sudden there's a huge buzz. We can make an argument for maybe it was the Super Bowl, maybe it was the TPC or Waste Management, or maybe it was Bear Jackson. I mean, there's all kinds of activity happening in Phoenix in the springtime. So spring training, all that stuff. So maybe that's contributing to that buzz. But I think Arizona is still historically, well, not historically, but since the high, it's still undervalued at about 30% from the last I saw.
Yeah.
So there's some great values, right?
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
All right, cool. So the next audio clip that we have here is about supply in Mike Orr. So let's take a listen to what he has to say about that.
We've seen action from the government to try and stimulate that demand with the lowering of the mortgage insurance premium for FHA, which was announced by President Obama in Phoenix. That's definitely aimed at the first-time home buyer. It really came into effect at the end of January, so we're not going to see it in the December numbers, but it could definitely have an impact on demand this spring. We've also got Fannie and Freddie reducing the requirement for down payment to 3% for people who, not everybody, but people who qualify. And again, I think that's aimed at well-qualified first-time home buyers.
So he talks a little bit about the first-time home buyer and what they can expect to bring in. Now, it's important to remember that not all these deals are going to qualify for FHA. Some of these condos, obviously, some of these high-end condos are priced above what FHA would be willing to finance, and that's for owner-occupied properties only. So if you're looking to buy an investment property or second home, not going to work. But I did do a podcast on the 3% down. So if you want to know more about that program, definitely check it out in iTunes and take a listen to that. And if you'd like to partake in that, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. So really, obviously, there's a lot of buzz even in the government here to try to stimulate and keep this momentum going for first-time home buyers, right? With the reduction of the FHA monthly insurance premium from 1.35% down to 0.85%, gives quite a bit in savings to buyers, but it also increases that purchasing power just that little bit more. So people can afford to purchase more home because it's not being eaten up through mortgage insurance.
Yes, I feel like we're definitely seeing an increase in the field out there once Obama passed that bill, that people are saying, hey, this is putting home ownership within reach, and they're investigating and finding out I can. And then again, the townhouse and condo communities being in nice, convenient locations, it becomes attractive because the price is also more affordable. So it's helping. The two are helping drive interest in that market.
Absolutely. And so that kind of goes to this next point here from Michael Orr that I want to kind of get into. It's real quick little audio clip from him about demand and why, and I've been preaching this on my Twitter feed and everywhere else. If you're on that fence and you're looking to purchase, now is the time.
Now is the time.
It is absolutely the time. I mean, and this time it's going to probably be here for a little while, but interest rates, they came down. There was a lot of buzz about refinancing. Interest rates are still relatively low. I mean, they're still, historically very, very low. And as you know, I don't quote any interest rates here on the show, but they are very, very low, so which is, like Kalencia said, it's making it very attractive and affordable. So so let's play this clip here from Mike Orr, and then we'll talk about everything else about condos, okay?
Okay.
Demand can grow much faster than supply can. Because there's nothing to stop people going out there and shopping. You can't construct a lot of new homes overnight.
There you go, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. So it's so true, right?
I agree, yeah. There's only so much land out there to build on and of course, go into these highly desirable areas. But in addition to that, why, don't wait any further if you're considering it is, the price is changing. The ideal time is to get in while it's happening. As time goes on, the developer or the builder is going to increase the pricing. It's just, you want to get in at the beginning if you can.
Yeah,
as far as purchasing, and great for a seller if you have if you have a condo or a townhouse, then just great for you because you're going to be able to capitalize on this higher interest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree, and I was going to say that exact same thing. So I'm glad you mentioned that. If you own a condo, now is a great time to sell it.
It's a fabulous time to sell. They're going so, this is what this whole commentary is about, the interest and how quickly these condo and townhomes are going. So if you are in the market or considering selling your townhouse or condo, definitely reach out to Jason and I, and we will get you, maximize your investment and get you set up.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's jump into, we know condos are hot. We've kind of established that. So now let's get into, if you're looking to purchase a condo or if you're even looking to sell a condo, what you can expect. Because condos, here in Phoenix, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't the most condo-friendly town in America. So there are certain things that as a homeowner you need to be aware of, and as a buyer you also need to be aware of. So let's kind of run through those real quick. And the first thing I'm going to say is there's warrantable and there's non-warrantable condos. Now, warrantable condo means that it's eligible for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac financing. That means it's met certain criteria. There's a condo questionnaire that has to be done. And if I were a seller of a condo, I'd want to have that condo questionnaire done prior to. However, it does cost money to have that condo questionnaire done. And that is something, however, that you could use as a selling tool to sell your property, in my opinion. Too many times I see a lot of home sellers, rely upon the agent, push the property and sell it, and the agent doesn't do their homework or their due diligence to promote that property properly on the MLS, and they'll I don't want to say mislead, that's a strong way to put it, but because they don't do all their homework, the buyer's agent coming in or the buyer coming in can be caught off guard. And so it's very important that you know up front whether your condominium complex is warrantable or non-warrantable. Very important.
I agree. Doing that for our sellers, doing that up front, yes, it's a small investment, but you want to know, and too many agents are just putting the listing up, not finding out, and putting in the MLS, yes, you can obtain a certain type of financing, and then, like you said, the buyer's agent comes in and sometimes may be assuming that the seller's agent has done their homework, and they haven't. In addition to now, I just want to add to that little piece is that with the HOA, our HOA forms have changed, and so before you put your house on the market, there is information that we need to be disclosing and attaching to the listing as far as dues and etc. That really help keep the avoid fallout, avoid cancellation, and gets the information out there up front so that you're dealing with it ahead of time so you can get a qualified buyer that's well informed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of anxiety that goes in whether you're a seller or a buyer to begin with. And so to remove some of that anxiety up front is just, in my opinion, a good idea. And, every time I talk to a buyer who's looking to purchase a condo, I always tell them up front, there are some expenses as a buyer because the condo questionnaire, it's anywhere I've seen it as expensive as $300 to $50. But getting that information up front tells me whether the condo is warrantable or non-warrantable as a lender. So let me define warrantable and non-warrantable because I didn't really touch on that. So I said warrantable is when Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will purchase that loan or securitize that loan. Non-warrantable, what makes a condo non-warrantable? Well, that would be if any one entity owns more than 10% of that condominium complex. So in other words, if you're in a new complex and the builder still owns the majority of the units, that would make it non-warrantable. Unless it's a new unit complex. I should back up for a minute. If it's a new unit complex, then there are exceptions to that. But if it's say a condo conversion, which was a big deal here a few years ago, where they took apartment complexes, put individual electric meters on each individual apartment, and then called them condos and put granted in. Condo conversions. Those are a problem for warrantable versus non-warrantable. If there's pending litigation against the HOA, if more than, I forget the exact percentage, I think it's like 50% of the condos are investment properties. That is true. 50% of the condos are investment properties. That makes it non-warrantable. If more than 50% are investment properties. Because then Fannie Freddie looks at that as essentially an apartment complex. If there are, what else? It's kind of losing my train of thought there. So you got pending litigation. These are just the big ones. There's other ones too involved. If I think it's more than 30% of the homeowners are behind on their HOAs, that also can make it non-warrantable. So there's different factors, and that condo questionnaire is going to give me, the lender, the information I need to know whether or not it's warrantable or not warrantable, because once I know that, then I know where I can take that loan and how I can price it out, how I can do whatever I need to do about it. Now, having said that, there are, and I do have, investors that will allow for a non-warrantable condo. The different terms, though, you're not going to get the best rate out there. You're not going to necessarily get the best terms to that purchase, but you still can purchase the property under non-warrantable. It's just going to be a set of different guidelines that we're going to have to abide by.
Yes, I agree. And all this information, again, is so critical. I mean, you are such a wealth of knowledge there, and I'm so thankful to have you on my team to help navigate that and hold the buyers, hold the hand of the buyer to make sure that we're setting them up for success and doing the due diligence to find out that information ahead of time before appraisals are ordered, inspections are ordered, and a lot of time is wasted on the purchase. It's just best to get that information.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And warrantable and non-warrantable, that's the key thing that I really want to get the message across on this particular podcast, is because we got to know that up front. And Kalencia does a fantastic job researching with the listing agent, but quite honestly, the listing agent doesn't always know.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, really. And so we have to do our due diligence by setting you up as a consumer, the home buyer, to ensure that we're not going to put you in a compromising position where you spend a lot of money only to find out that you're not going to get a property, or that you don't want it, you can't get it, or it's not resellable. And really, non-warrantable condos, it does hurt the resale value, no question about it. I mean, you're dealing with a smaller pool of people when it's a non-warrantable condo, so you've got to, as a consumer, make the decision whether or not that's going to be the type of property that you want to purchase.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
And if you're the seller out there, you need somebody like Kalencia who knows about condos and can set it up properly and market the property properly. Properly.
Market the property properly. It's true, though, and I appreciate it. Yes. Again, that initial legwork, getting done ahead of time and setting it up properly and finding out and providing the proper information to the buyer and the agent is so critical. It can cost you a lot of money in the long run and time. Of course, we want to get that home sold as quickly as possible. The longer it sits on the market, if you have a bunch of fallout, it stigmatizes the property. We don't have that kind of time to waste. We need to get it done the first time correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get it done first time correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything. What do you think?
No, that's it. I think this is a good start. I think we've sent home the message of, if you're interested in purchasing a home and it's your first time and you want to be in the city, definitely investigate and contact me at, again, 480-233-3102, so we can begin to look at all the great condo and townhouse communities that are out there that are modern, sleek, and just high-end products inside the home. That it's just, the locations are great. And then in addition, contacting Jason, well, actually we have to do that first, contacting Jason, and let's get you pre-qualified. Let's make sure that we're looking at the right properties, identifying the warrantable versus non-warrantable. This is something you need to investigate right away.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So if you want to reach out to the show, please email the show at valleythesunrealestateshow@gmail.com. You can call me directly, 602-573-3101. Follow me on Twitter, JAYSONBATES is my Twitter handle if you want to do that. Google+, Facebook, I'm all over social media, so just look me up and reach out to me. I'd love to stay in touch with you. So thank you.
I just want to say also, if you would like to have me send you some listings or show you some new developments that are coming into the Valley that haven't quite yet hit the market, definitely you can find me on Facebook, Kalencia Sanders at Orange Sky Realty. My name is so unique, it's really easy to find me. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn. Again, it's always, the handle name is Kalencia Sanders, KALENCIA at orangeskyrealty.com, and I'd love to help you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, please reach out to Kalencia. She's a great realtor. She'll represent you well, whether you're selling or buying. She's a great person to have on your team. So thank you, Kalencia, for being part of the show, and I really appreciate your input here. You're really on the front lines there when it comes to these condos, and you're really seeing that buzz out there. So I really appreciate you you putting your input into the show here today.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, cool. So until next time, stay in touch, and I hope to see you in a home soon. Take care. Bye-bye.